What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 5 college basketball preview and picks. And we got my girlfriend here just playing Fortnite in the background. So you're wondering why she's in the video. But we're going to be talking about a lot of good games this week. We got ranked matchups, got tons of great content this week. But first, we're going to talk about last week and a pretty subpar week for both of us. We picked a lot of different games and a lot of upsets, but they came out at 7-7. What do you think was your best pick last week?
Best pick? Not a lot to choose from. I guess Wisconsin going on the road came out with a win in that one. Wisconsin again over Marquette, but seems like there's a lot more bad picks last week. It was not a good week. Colorado, I don't know what I was thinking on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, DePaul, they almost pulled it out for me at home, but a lot of close games in all these games except that Colorado game, and unfortunately we just didn't get it, how we thought it was going to be. But moving into our first game of the week, and right now as we check the second half, this game is tied. And I'm still rolling with Illinois here. I just think that at the end of this game, Cochran's going to dominate, and Kofi, I just don't know who's going to guard him in the paint at the end of the game. So I got to roll with Illinois here.
Yeah, I'm going with Iowa. I was impressed with them last Friday, hanging with Purdue. It looked like they would just kind of give up that game going down about 15 early in the second half, but they hung around. I think they cut it to 2 points with about 1:30 left in that game. So they were right in it until the end. So going back home to cover Hawkeye tonight, I think they can pull this one out against Illinois.
And we're going to jump to Tuesday here. We're, finally taking Tennessee. It feels like, we haven't been confident on them all year, but I think they've really shown to us through 7 games that this Tennessee team is actually really good and not a fluke team that they have been in previous years. And they're at home here, so I got to roll with them.
Yeah, I just think Texas Tech is not going to have enough on offense to compete in this game. It's not a Chris Beard team anymore, so the defense isn't quite what it was, and then also they don't have that go-to shooter on offense that they have in the past. So I think Tennessee is the better team, and they'll show it.
And a potential upset game. It's always tough to play in the Carrier Dome for Syracuse. But this Villanova team at 6-2, kind of a surprise record at 6-2. But those 2 losses are 2 really good teams this year. And I just think that Villanova will pull it out, but this will be a close game. And look at that spread tomorrow to see what that spread is. And I'd say if it's anything over 5 for points for Syracuse, I would take the spread. It's always tough there, but Villanova will win this game outright.
Yeah, I just think Villanova is the perfect team to go up against that 2-3 zone from Syracuse. They're just so fundamentally sound, and they can shoot the ball really well, which you need to do playing against a zone. So I think they're going to be able to put up a lot of points in this game, and I don't think Syracuse is going to be able to keep up.
And Wednesday, we got a big upset for both of us here as we're going at West Virginia at home, pulling off the upset against UConn. And this was honestly a tough pick for me, taking West Virginia, but I just think they're due for a big win this year. It seems like they always have one on their schedule a bit, later in the year to really solidify that they are a good team. And if they win this game, there's no doubt in my mind that they'll probably be ranked next week. And this UConn team, though, give them their credit, 8-1. No one thought they would be 15th in the nation right now. And it's still a really good team, but this game could shift either way. And I think picking the home team here is crucial.
Yeah, I agree. Got to go with the home team in West Virginia. I think UConn might be the better team, but it's pretty close. So I think they're not good enough to go in there and win this game on the road. I think they're just coming off too much of a high of their past wins they're coming off of. I don't think they're quite a top 15 team either. I know they deserve it at this point, but I don't think they have the talent of a top 15 team. So I think going in there, West Virginia is going to be able to pull this game out.
And another game at 7 on Wednesday, Wisconsin and Indiana. And once again, it's kind of like the same matchup. You could say two really good teams. Um, Unfortunately, this Wisconsin team is better than Indiana, and I think you're going to see it in this game. And I'm not just saying that just because they're both 7-1. But this Wisconsin team, they've really shot the lights out in almost every game, and I think they're going to keep it rolling here and move to 8-1 over a big win against a really good Indiana team.
Yeah, I think this game comes right down to the wire, but Wisconsin's playing at home and they have the better guards. So I think that's going to be the difference in this game. I think Jackson Davis will get his 20, 25 points, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Wisconsin is just too much playing at home, and I think they'll get a close win over Indiana.
And another game on Wednesday that's going to be a really good one, Michigan State and Minnesota. We're both rolling with State here. I think there's just too much talent on State's team this year to, lose this game. But nonetheless, on the road, first, home game for Minnesota in the Big Ten. That place is going to be jumping. And if they do pull out this win, it's definitely going to be a big road win, not just to start the year, but start the Big Ten and give State that confidence moving forward.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of props to Minnesota starting 7-0. I think I had them ranked last in the Big Ten at the start of the year. They lost their head coach. They lost basically all the talent they had from last year to the transfer portal. So this team was just cleaned out, and they've bounced right back and started 7-0 with a couple quality wins. Unfortunately, I think it comes to an end here at home against a much better Michigan State team. So far, I think they look like the second best team in the Big Ten. Now that could change, obviously, but right now they look like a really good basketball team, and I think they're going to prove it again, going in there and winning this game.
And another game on Wednesday that's really good. Definitely college basketball fans, you got to watch on Wednesday, and make sure you have a computer and a TV to watch all these games. And a game that's definitely going to fly under the radar is this Utah State versus BYU game. BYU ranked 24th. Kind of surprised by that ranking still after the rankings got released today, but to their credit, I guess they deserve it. 7-1, and a big win here. They'll definitely stay in the AP poll next week. As this Utah State is really flying under the radar as well, and I really expect both these teams to be around a 7-8 seed come March Madness. And I think this may be, an early preview of what these teams are going to offer in a big game come, February, March.
Yeah, I just think BYU really needs this game. They're coming off a really bad loss last week to Utah Valley. So I think they'll bounce back here. I think it will be a close game, but playing at home, coming off that loss, I think they're going to be motivated. They really need this game, and I think they'll get it.
And yet again, another game on Wednesday. Wyoming, surprisingly, at 8-0 to start the year. That I still can't believe that. And Arizona at 7-0 at home. I do believe Arizona will win this one probably by double digits, but nonetheless, it's definitely an intriguing game for all the West Coast fans out there and East Coast. If you like to stay up late, this will probably be on your TV. And I think it's more or less what Arizona is going to do to win this game, because they're going to be favored probably by a lot, and I think they will cover no matter what that spread is. But if they can keep shooting and playing how they have been, this is a top 10 team heading into Pac-12 play.
Yeah, I just think Arizona is going to overwhelm Wyoming in this game, and if that spread is under 15 even, just because Wyoming is undefeated, I'm taking Arizona to cover for sure. They've looked like a really underrated team this year. They look like they could even be better than UCLA in that Pac-12. So I think they're going to win this game pretty easily.
And finally, moving to Thursday for the first game of the day, Texas, number 7 in the country versus number 23, Seton Hall. And both of us are going with the road victory here in Texas. And I think this is where having Chris Beard helps you as a program. They're all about he's all about defense, and now with a really good team, I think better talent in Texas, I think they can go into Seton Hall and get this victory.
Yeah, I think Seton Hall might be a little overhyped just coming off that Michigan win, but there's also two other teams that blew out Michigan, so that win doesn't look quite as good as it did when it happened originally. So I think Texas is the much better team here, and I think they're really in need of a win like this. Obviously, they've played one really good team this year and got blown out, so they need this game. I think they'll go in there and get it. Seton Hall is just, I think, a little overranked.
And another game on Thursday, Iowa State. And I'm going with Iowa State here because I'm just going to keep rolling with them. Until they lose, this team is definitely the hottest team in all of college basketball. And I'm feeling like Cade McNamara now, just keep repeating the same thing. But this team had 2 wins last year, the whole season, and they're off to an 8-0 start. I mean, you can't script, anything better for this Iowa State team. And you were talking about in the rankings video that it seems like Iowa has owned Iowa State in almost every sport. And I think this game is going to change the tide, at least in college basketball, and they're going to get the big win at home.
Yeah, I just think Iowa State's luck is going to run out eventually. They'll finally come back to earth. Jordan Bohannon especially owns Iowa State. I think he's undefeated against them, and I don't see that changing in this game. Iowa's played some good basketball to start the season, another underrated team in the Big Ten, and I think they're going to go in there and get this win and kind of bring Iowa State back down to earth.
And on Saturday, we got another Wisconsin game on the road against Ohio State, and I did switch my pick. I did have Ohio State winning this game, but I think the game this week, or the previous game, this week for Wisconsin, I think that's going to, give them some confidence going to Columbus, and I think they can come away with a win. If they can win this game, I think this Wisconsin team will be ranked at least in the top 15, possibly even top 10, depending on other games. But 2 big wins, or 2 big games and 2 big wins for this Wisconsin team, I believe, this week.
Yeah, this team does tend to go in and get big wins like this that you don't expect them to get. I was thinking of maybe pulling the trigger on Wisconsin, but I just think I got to go with the more talented team and the home team in this game, which is Ohio State, coming off that big win over Duke. But they've had a lot of time to kind of come back down from that and not turn around right away and play a good team like this. So I think Ohio State wins this game at home.
And I believe, yeah. And at 6:30, we got Minnesota and our Michigan Wolverines. And I think after last Saturday's showing against San Diego State, I'm confident that we will walk away with a victory here. Minnesota playing both teams in Michigan this week, sorry. And it's going to come down to guard play yet again. It's always going to come down to that for this Michigan team because we know they can score inside and rebound. But what are you going to get out of your guards? And I think that's why they're 5-3 right now. The 5 games, their guards have showed up and played well. And those 3 losses, they've been non-existent. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to Eli Brooks and his guards. And I think Eli Brooks will have a good game here and win to move Michigan potentially back into the rankings.
Yeah, I was really happy with what I saw Saturday from Michigan. I think that was their first really good game that they've played all season. I thought they had 7 mediocre to terrible games so far. So I think they found their starting 5 on Saturday, and they pretty much dominated a decent San Diego State team. Even with Musa Diabate, their star freshman, only playing 7 minutes due to illness. So if they get him back, I think you got to roll out Frankie Collins as your starting point guard from here on out. And if they do that, I think this team is going to be much better, and they should show that in this game with an easy win.
And at 8:30, we got a really good Cincinnati team in the American versus a really good Xavier team in the Big East. And I don't know, these teams definitely look like tournament teams so far. But unfortunately, in this game, one of them has to lose. And I think the winner will be Xavier to boost their resume as well. Cincinnati will be a top 5, potentially top 3 team in the American. And if Xavier can win this game, which I believe they will, they may enter the rankings as well. So a lot on the line for, I'd say, both of these teams early in the year.
Yeah, this is a big rivalry game. Usually turns out to be really chippy, but Xavier, I think, is definitely the better team and playing at home. So I think they should win this game. They also just have much more depth than Cincinnati. That's a problem for Cincinnati this year. So I think Xavier should kind of wear down Cincinnati and get the win.
And potentially the best game of the week, you got Houston and Alabama. And I'm rolling with Houston because I think they will score on this Alabama defense. And it's just been hard to stop them. You saw last week against Bryant, I believe they put up over 100 points. And the spread was I think it was minus 22. And I think they won by like 60. So, I mean, Vegas isn't even giving this Houston team as much credit as they deserve. And I think, it's going to be the same here in this game. And I think Alabama will be favored because they're at home. So I'm taking Houston probably and the money line here. Roll Cougs.
Yeah, this game makes me a little nervous picking Alabama. First of all, coming off that Gonzaga win, how much are they really going to get back up for another big game that's not, a top 3 team like Gonzaga was. But this team, they live and die by the 3, and they're going to do that all year. They put up 34 threes against Gonzaga, but they made 13 of them. That's why they won the game. And I think, again, they're going to make just enough threes in this game to outlast Houston at home. The Houston defense is no joke this year, but I do think Alabama is just going to have a slight advantage playing at home, and they'll win a close game.
And on Sunday, we got the number 1 team in the country in the Purdue Boilermakers going on the road to potentially a tricky game at NC State. And I honestly could see them losing this game just because, Purdue's number 1. They finally got there, first time in school history that they've ever been ranked number 1. And it seems like when they pull these stats out of nowhere, they normally don't last long here. But I'm going to still roll with Purdue because I think there's just too much talent on that team for them to lose this game. Even if 2 of them have a bad game, the other one, it seems like, can score 25, 30 to pick up for those other guys. And I think that's going to be Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey he's my favorite to win, not just freshman of the year, but player of the year. And it's just going to be interesting to see how this Purdue team will handle themselves with the number 1 ranking moving forward into Big Ten play as well.
Yeah, I think Purdue wins this game pretty easily. I don't see them having really any trouble here. They just have probably the 3 or 4 best players on the court in this game. And I don't see NC State putting up, really any fight in this game. Obviously, Nebraska just took NC State to 4 overtimes in their building. So I don't see Purdue having any trouble. And I think they'll win this game by, 15, 20 points.
And our last game of the day and the best game of the week, we got to save it for last, in Villanova and Baylor. And how can you just pick against Baylor right now? The defending national champions, 8-0 start, number 2 team in the country. And it really looks like they haven't missed a beat at all. Yeah, they lost some key pieces last year going into this year, but you can't tell from how they've been playing. Michael Meyer just been the guy that they needed to be. Last year in the tournament, you saw him be just the 3 guy, the 3 and D guy. Well, this year he's become more of the superstar for that Baylor team. And I think he's going to be a key piece in this game and moving forward. And I believe Baylor will win this game.
Yeah, I think Baylor's too physical for Villanova. Unless Villanova shoots the lights out in this game, I think Baylor's just going to kind of wear them down, especially with Villanova. I know I've said it plenty of times. They only play about 6 or 7 guys. So playing a physical team like Baylor is just going to really wear them down, and Baylor is going to outlast them and win the game.
And that'll be it for our video today. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think of our picks? And if you have any better picks or an upset you guys think will happen this week, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Try to get us to 100 followers, and we'll be doing our giveaway soon of the 50 followers when we had that. But until the next video, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.